All right, Derby Eyes, welcome to our slugfest for Drama Supporting Actress at the 2015 Emmys. This is kind of a tough one. I could be swayed either way, but Ralph, you've been on the Uzo Aduba train for a couple years now. Do you think she can pull this off? She just won last year in the comedy guest race, and now she's here in Drama Supporting Actress. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she could definitely win. I think the new voting helps her out a lot, and she's got a great episode.
Anything else, or is that it? Is that it?
You're not usually this succinct when you're talking about it.
I could go on, but I don't want to get interrupted, so go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say, some of the points that you were talking about, about the good episode, how, it's all about her. You're not wrong about that. I have her in second. I think
Me too.
Yeah, I think she has a solid episode choice, and that I think she has a very good shot at this.
Well, when I watched the episodes, I watched them all in alphabetical order by their surname, just because I wanted to. And so I watched her first, and I was really I didn't want to have her in first place. I love Uzo Aduba as a person. She's a lovely person. She's a great actress. But I was just really skeptical. I was skeptical about her nomination and the show's support. So I was trying to just see who else could I put up the top. And by the end of it, I kept going back to her. I'm not really a big fan of Orange is the New Black. I like it, but I don't love it. And so I'm coming from a very unbiased place, and I have her well up front because I was very, very enamored by her performance. Like, she has a beautiful arc in that. When that episode was first viewed by me many, many months ago, I remember saying this should be her Emmy submission because she's got a beautiful arc in it. She's got range, impact. She's got everything, and she's such an amazing actress. Like, that's what I kept saying in my mind. I was like, wow, she is such a good actress. Like, I was so taken in by her performance.
If you watch
and I think voters will be the same.
What's really interesting
with Gold Derby, she's nothing like her character.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
Charlie, you and I both know the real winner is Lorraine Toussaint, right? If she was nominated, she would win.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. Don't get me started on the whole Lorraine Toussaint being snubbed.
Yeah, that's a different slugfest, but I just wanted to put that out there.
I will say about what's really interesting about her episode is that there are 3 flashbacks in the episode regarding her character. 2 of them she's not even in because it's when she's a very, very young girl, and you would normally think that might stick out, but because she's so good in it, it doesn't even factor into your thinking, and that only helps her and that sort of thing.
Speaking of the Emmy vote, and Rob saying that he watched them alphabetically, if you actually look at the voters, there's an app that you can get on your iPhones or iPads, and I got to look at that with Chris Beecham and Tom O'Neill. They're listed in order of their show title. Unless your show starts with the word "the," like The Good Wife, Christine Baranski was very last because they thought that it starts with a T, which was very strange. So I just wanted to point that out there. But anyways, let's move on to these Game of Thrones women: Lena Headey, Emilia Clarke. I have a favorite. It's Lena Headey. Where do you guys stand on the Game of Thrones battle?
I had Lena Headey in first. Mainly because she submitted the finale, which has the walk of shame, and just because everyone's still talking about that. I had her in first. After rewatching the episodes, I have her in fourth now.
Wow.
Because remember, last year, Peter Dinklage in his category, the episode he submitted, his scene is like classic Emmy scene. It's a trial, and he gives this impassioned, amazing speech at the end after he's been humiliated. It was great, but you had to wait 40 minutes for his character to come on screen. With this, I think it's 40. It might even be 45 minutes before Lena Headey comes on screen in her episode. That is not going to help her.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I knew that a lot of people, including Marcus and others, had her very high up on their list, and I thought her performance was really great. But it takes such a long time to get to it, and also she's not even featured in Emilia Clarke's episode. That doesn't even help her. So all she has is the scenes in the jail, or whatever, and the walk. They're great. I was also a bit put off by the walk because of the CGI, and she doesn't do anything
You
apart from
could
be
tell.
sad.
Be honest, you could tell that was CGI. I couldn't tell.
I could tell.
I could tell
in a few
when I first
places where
watched
she's
it.
walking up the stairs and things like that. Yeah.
Maybe I was
Um,
looking at something else. I don't know what
I
that could
think
be.
I think you were. But yeah, I thought she was great though. I have her in second because there's got to be more to this than just the episodes, and I thought she just made such an impact in her performance. She was nominated last year, and she was probably close to winning last year too. So I think that that's someone we really do need to look out for.
Hmm.
I have her in third. I just switched her. I told you guys yesterday that I may put Hendricks in second, and I moved Hetty down to third. I don't think. I mean, if you're a Game of Thrones watcher, which I think you have to be in order for you to vote for her, I don't think she's your favorite character. I think she's pretty evil, and I don't know how much compassion you have for her as she's walking down. I mean, she's still an awful person. I mean, I guess that never hurt Selena Meyer, but in this instance, I just don't. And also I don't see her against Emilia Clarke, because Emilia Clarke, no matter how much she really didn't have to do in her episode, in terms of impact, I think there was a lot more impact and buzz on her getting on her dragon saving her, and her flying away in this grand, awesomeness of weird background that she had, or whatever it was, green screen. So it's really like you're talking about both the Game of Thrones actresses submitted an episode where each of them have a very impactful scene in there, and it's just like which one is more, and it could end up, maybe slicing right in the middle of which Game of Thrones people prefer one versus the other one. So I don't really see her having a full amount of support for just that portion of her episode.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I have Emilia Clarke down in sixth place because, rewatching her episode yesterday, and I just fast forwarded to her part, just like I did Lena Headey. She has virtually no dialogue. She's sitting there in the little booth, watching the fighting pit, and she claps a couple of times. There's really no dialogue. Even when all of the bad guys come and start killing everyone, it's the other people that are pulling her. Queen, come with me, come with me. She's really, I mean, she picked the best episode for her, I think, because of the impact. But I think that's why I have her so low, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But Lena Headey, I mean, I've been on the Lena Headey bandwagon since the episode aired. I thought that was a perfect submission. I did fast forward to her scene, and I wonder how many voters are also going to do that. Maybe they won't.
They would have to, mate. Like, they would have to, because you just go mad waiting and waiting and waiting. And the same thing for Emilia Clarke. It takes about half an hour to get to her. And you're right, she doesn't really do very much, does she? Except she does. I really agree with Ralph. She has that really impactful scene where she's flying off on her dragon. Like, that is a big moment. She's not doing anything, but it's just unforgettable. She's also in Lena Headey's episode when she's being surrounded by all those, I assume, Dothraki. So she has that as well when she's complaining that Drogon won't get up, and because he's licking his wounds literally. So there is more than just that one scene in her episode. That's why I have her at least in fifth.
I also am one of the people thinking that Game of Thrones will win Best Drama, so I think maybe they'll take an acting trophy along for the ride, like Breaking Bad did. But I guess Mad Men never did that, did they?
Mad Men never did that, and Breaking Bad, they had the episodes to do it.
Yeah. So, I was just thinking as well, I think there is at least 5 women in this category. I was saying this to all of you after I finished watching the episodes. I immediately emailed you all because it's my first reaction. I think any one of 5 women could win this. I have Joanne Froggatt down the end. But, yeah, I think that there is arguments to be made for all of them. Although I think Uzo Aduba's episode was by far the best one, there are other arguments given that this is not just going to be about episode submission.
Right.
Exactly, that's a great point. It's not really going to be about episode submission. I mean, you can vote. The weird thing to me is going to be to see how many people, or I mean, we'll never know, but how many people actually go and vote for this category, since it's not seen as a very competitive one. I mean, you could have like the drama actor race, 1,000 people voting for that category in the actors branch, and on this one you could have maybe 100. So that I think that kind of weighs in a lot, like how, and if it is only 100 or 300 people, how many of those people are going to go in and just vote for their favorite in the category without ever watching the episode? So we never really see. That's why I think with Uzo's SAG that she won, and just she's still all around everywhere. I mean, she's been doing interviews all over the place, still getting her name out there. I think she's really campaigning for it, and I think she's got a great shot. But sorry to go back on the Uzo train. You guys can go. So.
No, it's a valid point. But I think, I mean, the one I have in number one right now, and as a segue, is Christina Hendricks for her episode. And I don't know. There's something about her. I mean, I'm very wary to keep her in first place because the whole. I know several of us have made this declaration that we will not predict a Mad Men actor to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Until it happens, and of course, after this one, we won't have another chance to predict a Mad Men actor. So, we're kind of screwed all there. But I think she's very impactful in hers, though. I can see there might be some drawbacks because I know some actors don't like to aren't as receptive to episodes where the person they're supposed to be focused on is reacting rather than actually being part of the situation or playing an instigating role in a situation. And with Christina Hendricks' episode, that's her primary thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before I talk about Christina Hendricks, I just want to remind people that Uzo and Joanne Froggatt battled it out for the Golden Globe, and who won? It was Froggatt. That's the first time they were in a category together, and that was not based on episode submissions. So it's something to remember. Froggatt's beaten her before.
Yeah.
Yes, by the 95 members of the Hollywood Foreign Press.
84 Hollywood Foreign Press members, yes.
Yeah. But
totally
it's true.
Emmy members.
It was surprising. Like it is a point. Like it is a popular show, and Joanne Froggatt seems to be very well liked, and that's why when I watched her episode, I was waiting for to be knocked out with my socks knocked off, and I wasn't. There was nothing to it.
I know. It was disappointing. I actually thought I thought that would have been a great submission for Maggie Smith. I think she was awesome in that episode. And I was more floored by her than I was Froggatt. Like, I know at the very end, there's that whole like arresting scene, but it really there was bits and pieces, and they were so quick. There were like 30 seconds of Joanne Froggatt 4 times within the episode, and it just
that's
and
normal
even during that big scene at the end of the episode when she's arrested, she only has, I think, 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. The rest is just her reacting to everything.
Yeah, Michelle Dockery was the one who was getting, all upset and, what is she doing?
Yeah, her and Brendan Coyle.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? If Joanne Froggatt's episode from last year where she got, attacked, if that had been her submission this year, this really would be a 6-person race, wouldn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. I keep being kicked off, unfortunately. There's something going on with my computer, but I'm assuming you were talking about Christina Hendricks, and I just want to say that even though I have her in 4th, it's not a very accurate reflection of how well I think she could do in this category. Like, it's because I have 4 of them right at the top, with Uzo Aduba just leading. Christina Hendricks is so good in that episode, and I'm so desperate for a Mad Men actor or actress to win that I'm not sure where my biases are. So I was hoping one of you would be able to tell me, no, it's not that good, or I don't know. I thought she was great, and I think she could easily take home the trophy. I would love to see it.
No, she is actually. She is.
Yeah, she's excellent.
I think Chris Beecham has her in first place, unless he's made another change. He likes to change things around a lot just to see how they feel, he told me. And currently, she was his number 1. Chris is a really good predictor, and I'm not, and I have her in 3rd.
That's interesting. Okay, I should check out what all the other guys are doing too.
Have you ever considered that Chris is just screwing with you?
I will say I have never gotten an Uzo Aduba category wrong. I said she would lose at the Golden Globes. I have never gotten her wrong, and I have her first in this one.
Well, you say she was going to lose too.
Yeah.
Are you 100% confident she's going to win, or is there any doubt?
No, I think after talking to Chris about the voting system, I'm more confident now than I was before.
Why don't you take us through that, Ralph? Why don't you give the people who are watching this a bit of background about what you're talking about?
Well, and real quick, just to also throw something back to what Rob said, I rewatched our slugfest on the guest comedy actress last year when she won, and Rob said something I think still stands true, is that when you're watching Crazy Eyes, when you're watching Uzo, it just never leaves you. Like, she never leaves you. She has such an impact with that character that even as you're watching the other episodes, you're still thinking about, this crazy, woman in jail. And I think it says a lot to her performance. And last year, she was only in 5 minutes of her episode, and she's still
absolutely. Really? 100%. It's so true. Like the scene from her flashback when she's at the graduation ceremony, I'm still thinking about that. Like, she is 100% amazing, and I'm not being a fanboy here. I'm just being flat out honest. That's how I'm calling it. I think she's going to win, and it's going to be so unusual to have the comedy actress and a drama act. Like, she's going to have 2 trophies from different categories.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me uncomfortable. But yeah.
Well, I believe this will be the first time this happens with a character on the same show. I mean, Ed Asner won for Mary Tyler Moore and for Lou Grant.
Correct.
But I don't think anybody's ever done it on the same show.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway,
Ralph, when you talked to her, does she know that she's about to make history if she wins? Is she aware of the stats?
She was aware of the stat that Charlie just said, even though she doesn't think she's going to win. I mean, and I talked to her 4 months ago when I brought that up. No. I mean, it's crazy the kind of history, and also I think it's going to be. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think it would be the first major victory on for Netflix on the actual major telecast awards.
They won the directing award. Fincher won the directing award for Pilot of House of Cards.
But for acting, this will be it.
But for acting, yes.
Yeah.
And there could be more on that night, like depending on what we decide in the lead categories. But yeah, this one's going to be very historic, and it's going to be a great moment. Look, have we talked about Christine Baranski? Because I think that's the only one we haven't really talked about yet. I just want to go there because
I loved her episode. I know some people.
So did I.
Differently. I thought she was very good in it.
It's a lot of sitting down and speaking
and talking. Yeah.
Yeah, I love talking.
Yeah, that's the problem for her. She's been nominated every single year. She's been nominated many, many times. She only won for Sybil 20 years ago. Her problem is nomination. Right, that's a lot. She, in my mind, is now overdue for another trophy. The problem for her is that her character doesn't scream and throw things. She's very polished. Like, Diane Locker is so polished and smooth that she doesn't get the dynamic fireworks, and so. But this episode really shows off that side of Diane, her polish and her, the way she carries herself and her argument. And I think that if any overdue factor is going to come into it, she will win. And that's why I have her in third. She is definitely a threat. People would love to see her win. And it would continue the good wife streak.
Yeah, that's very important. I think that needs to continue. We talked to Alan Cumming, and he actually said he wants her to win. Like, it's very, very important to him and to the Good Wife people that she wins this year. You know what? I think maybe next year for her, because it's supposed to be the final season. Maybe they haven't announced it, but I think it will be the final season. And maybe they should just kill her off, have a great big death scene, and give her her Emmy for her goodbye episode. I think that would be great.
Can she slay a dragon from the top of the building that she works in? I think that would.
Yeah.
Or fly off with the dragon. She flies off from the dragon on her lawn.
Maybe she could do a shame walk, like,
And she could get arrested.
Whatever needs to happen.
I'm just trying to imagine who from the cast of The Good Wife is going to be ringing the bell and yelling shame.
Yeah.
If it's Alan Cumming, that'll be so ironic. Alan Cumming
with the same,
Alan Cumming is one of the most shameful people I can think of in a good way. We love Alan Cumming.
We do love him.
We know he's very sordid.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So Robert and Michelle can get onto that. But in any event, I think this category is so exciting. It's one of the ones that I'm looking out for the most because anything could really happen here, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Marcus, we haven't gone down what's your rundown? I mean, I know like Rob's, 1 through 6 pretty much. What did you have from 2 to 6?
From 2 days ago, it's changed in the past 10 minutes based on what you guys have said. I'm going to change it. I'm going to make a live change.
So easy.
My number one pick is Uzo Aduba.
All right, let me change mine real quick. Christina Hendricks.
Correct.
Really, really good points. I'm going to keep Lena Headey in number 2, just because I think that Walk of Shame is good enough to win. I just wish she had more screen time. I wish that scene came earlier. I think if she loses, that's why. It's not her performance. It's the fact that it's 40 minutes into the episode, and voters are not going to sit through that when they have a million other categories to get to. So number 3, I actually have Christina Hendricks. I just thought that her episode was fantastic, especially the scene where she basically blackmails that guy into giving her money, and it was just a fantastic scene.
Yeah.
I'm scared to predict her or put her higher than 3rd because she's never won. No one from Mad Men's ever won. Maybe this year, though. And then 4th, I have Baranski, 5th, Froggatt, and 6th, Amelia Clark.
There you go.
Should we mention the episodes, or do you think people know?
I think people generally know, but...
But yeah, Uzo's is Hugs Can Be Deceiving, Baranski, Loser Edit, Clark, The Dance of Dragons, Joanne Froggatt. This is the best episode title. It's episode 5.08. Lena Headey is Mother's Mercy. Christina Hendricks is Lost Horizon.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts then?
I'm very tempted to switch to Uzo, but I know you 3 all have her in first place, and I just want to be the hipster iconoclast douche, so, I may just keep Christine.
And you do it so well.
I know!
Yeah.
I know! It's fantastic. The only thing is that with the humidity here and all the hot air that comes out of me, it's just a pain in the ass, so,
It's no
Literally,
fun. If we all just copy each other, it's no fun.
I know. That's why we shouldn't change.
Guys.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Marcus, stick with Lena Headey.
Stick with it. Yeah. I think
Stick with it, Marcus. Charles, you can change. Marcus, stick with Lena Headey.
Yay! I'm winning!
Okay, let's say this. If Game of Thrones wins, like, what's the number? The West Wing won 9, right? At 1 year. So if Game of Thrones wins enough at the Creative Arts where they can tie West Wing, I might switch back to Lena Headey, because if the show has that much support, it's gonna win an acting trophy too.
Fair enough. Look, Amelia Clark, don't discount her. Just because she doesn't do very much, her character is very, very loved. It's a favorite of so many, and that's why she was nominated again for not doing too much. It's important to remember that. It's like a Merritt Weaver situation. She could easily win the trophy.
And it was her body on the dragon, actually. She didn't have to use a stunt double.
There was no dragon!
Whatever it was her. And
we didn't really talk about that, but do you think that will hurt her? I don't think that the walk of shame.
I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, I honestly, it's the point that both you and I brought up, Marcus. If the one thing that'll hurt her more than anything is the amount of time that it takes to get to her scenes.
Right. Okay.
There you go.
Cool. So yeah, thank you for watching, and come back next week. We're gonna have many more of these as we get closer to Emmy night. Bye.